At its best, Smosh reads Reddit stories is like sitting in a warm campfire, surrounded by your closest friends and just shooting the shit. Oh shit, I forgot about the coyote. Let go! Let go! For all the crap I sling at some of the takes they have on Reddit stories, there's a reason that this show is firmly nested inside the crevices of my brain. I wanted to go through and break down some of the best discussions on Reddit stories to celebrate what makes the show special and why I've been a listener for almost 2 years. I felt compelled to make this video because, frankly, I feel bad about sending a wave of negativity to a channel that I genuinely enjoy, but also to clear up some things about why I make these kinds of videos. To me, I'm not making these videos because I think they're important pieces of critique. I don't make these with the belief or the intent that the people at Smosh need to stop making videos or change the way they format their content. With a few exceptions, these videos aren't harmful anyway, except to maybe the image of some of the people in them. Which is why I try to approach these videos from that angle. Why did they make this? Why did they upload this? More trying to dissect how the format and the editorial decisions behind these productions can leave the viewers with a bad perception of the cast. At the same time, I'm not gonna lie and say that I don't make judgments on specific cast members. And in the most recent episode, I think I stepped too far over the line and became insulting. Now, I still stand by everything I said in that video. I believe all the points I made were very fair. And it's not that I think that they don't deserve criticism. It's just that saying Rachel sucks doesn't contribute to the breakdown of that content in any way. The reason that I love Smosh Reads Reddit is because we get to see that window into their personal lives. We get to hear personal stories. We get to see them laugh. We get to see them cry, see what values they hold and how that shapes their personality. But as I often say, we don't know these people. It's impossible for them to be the image that exists of them in our heads. So when they say something that doesn't align with our idea of who they are or even our personal beliefs, it stands out. This show's clearly something that people are passionate about. I continued to make Smosh critical content because I know that people want to watch it. But what I'm coming to grips with now is that by doing that, I'm contributing to a wave of negativity aimed at a group of people that I like. Now, I'm not going to stop making these videos because these are my genuine opinions, and I think people should have a space to voice their negative opinions about people that they're a fan of. But I will try, and I ask that you as the viewer try not to lean too much into the parasocial. Understand that just because the videos are bad, that doesn't mean the creators are bad people. And if you ask them, they might not even agree with the take they gave on the show. Now, on to the good stuff. The first story we're going to read is called I Cooked Meat on My Vegan Roommate's Dishes. On the couch, we have Damien and Courtney, core Smosh members that I personally feel are among the best of the entire cast. I'm going to read the story, but for relevant portions, I'm going to cut back to the Smosh recording so we can see reactions and stuff. I, a 20-year-old woman, have been living with 2 roommates, also both 20 and women. I'm not a vegetarian, but one of them is. When we moved in together, the vegan roommate said she did not want meat in her Tupperware, on her pots, pans, or her cooking items like spatulas, plates, utensils, spoons, etc. She had lived in another apartment before, so she bought all of her own items and kept them separately in one cabinet. And me and the other girl shared stuff that we brought. In the fridge, we each claimed a row and then had shared condiments. And we all had our own cabinet for our snacks and cooking supplies like seasoning and oil. It was all good. She would do her dishes with her own separate dish brush and store them separately. She was barely home due to school and work, but was very clean. And the few items we split for the place, paper towels, dish soap, she always paid for, along with splitting some decor like a kitchen rug, coffee table, and couch. My other roommates had been in a rush yesterday morning and not cleaned the pans from last night or today. And I was in a rush too. My vegan roommate wasn't there, and I borrowed a plate, 2 pans, and a spatula from her cabinet to make some French toast, eggs, and bacon. I figured I could just clean it after class and she'd never know. She came home early before I did and asked if someone had used her pans and items to make anything. I said, yeah, sorry, that our pans were dirty and it was an emergency. She said that was fine, but she specifically asked us to not use her stuff, and she was upset that I disrespected her boundaries. She said that I could go ahead and keep the plate, pans, and her spatula, and she moved all of her cookware to her room. She just brings it out when she needs it. She asked if I would just buy her new pans, but I said no. And she dropped it. It's been a little tense. She barely talks to me, but I don't see why. Can you really not figure that out? She pretty much told her.
Because you used her stuff and broke her boundaries?
Yeah.
I offered to clean the dishes for her right away, but she said don't bother. It was just eggs and bacon, not that deep. It's not like the dishes went through a physical change from you doing that, but it's clearly important to her. And above all else, it's her property. You used it without asking. She said not to, and whether or not you see them as ruined isn't really important. She asked you specifically not to do that. It's her property. just pay the $25 for a new pan.
It shouldn't matter the reason, whether it's as big as something like your religious preferences or your food preferences, or it could just literally be like, I'm a germaphobe, don't touch my pans.
My other friend is vegetarian, but way more chill, and said I'm the asshole for not offering to buy her new pans. It's $25, but I don't see why I should accommodate her personal fear of meat having once touched her dishes. But this is also clearly affecting her. She's not even trying to get you to make things right anymore. She just doesn't want to be betrayed like this again.
She moved her stuff to her room, and in my head, I first was like, oh, that's a bit much. And then I'm like, no.
You can't trust.
No, with a roommate, yeah, that's what you gotta do.
It has nothing to do with a personal fear. You used something that wasn't yours and it hurt her. This is the kind of story that they should stick to, in my opinion. It's pretty straightforward, but there's room for discussion without the potential for something to be left unsaid and derail the point that they're trying to make.
When you set a boundary with someone, like, you don't have to agree to that boundary, but then you don't live together or you don't work together, like all that kind of stuff. If someone sets a boundary and you're like, okay, then like, great, you're entering into a contract with that person. And
It's true, they agreed to it.
And they don't get tunnel vision for the victim of the story. They use the OP's own perspective to further pick apart her reasoning.
She's in a super rush where she can't clean this plate, but she makes eggs, bacon, and French toast.
French
What the
toast
fuck?
is an
that's not a
ordeal.
rush.
Shane and Courtney give anecdotes about their past roommates, one of which being Damien, and we get to see the direct impact that good and bad roomies has had on their lives.
There are roommates that like they have an entire apartment in their own room because they can't operate with the roommate. I simply had to give up on like keeping much stuff in my fridge when I had one of my roommates. I just found it was easier to be the type of roommate that unless you literally went into my bathroom or into my bedroom, you wouldn't know I lived there.
So not only do we get to see their perspective on the story, we get to learn why they're so thoughtful about this kind of thing.
I came in, and this was after a rough day, and our roommate's making some eggs. This is late at night, 9, 10 p.m. He's making eggs. He's like, hey man, how's it going? I'm just like, cool man. Like he's talking and stuff, and I'm just like, I got broken up with today. And he's like, oh man, I'm sorry. You want some of my eggs? Like,
Next up, we have a story from r/Am I Overreacting, starring core channel members Shane, Courtney, and Angela. The story in question is titled Boyfriend Made Reference During. Oh no.
Sex?
I, 37 female, was having sex with my 39 male fiance. I was on top doing my thing. He starts laughing, and I was confused and asked what was funny. He made a reference about me looking like the Penguin. I'm heavier and was wearing a white tank top. I was still confused. He then pulls up a picture of the Penguin from Batman with his disgusting face and white shirt moving in an obvious way that resembled me. I'm not usually overly sensitive and can take a joke, but this made me angry, very angry. I already really struggle with my self-worth, especially in the bedroom. It led to an all-day issue. He apologized, but it meant nothing to me. Am I overreacting?
oh
dude,
no!
my man.
Jesus Christ. I was trying so hard not to laugh during that. No, you're not overreacting. That's fucking insane. Like, thinking that in your head and not being able to stifle a laugh is one thing. I feel like he should have played it off. But if you look at OP's further replies, this is not the first time this kind of thing has happened.
Once he made a reference of me looking like a dinosaur because my hand was kind of up, and another that he wanted to push on my stomach and make me laugh like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
This is the meme he was referencing, by the way.
No!
Kind of funny, but oh my God. Time and place.
She's topping you. You're welcome. You're blessed.
Do I really need to say anything on this one? Send him to jail. Actually, send him to Arkham. Send him to Arkham.
This will be the first Reddit story. I abstain.
Abstain?
I'll just sit here and listen to you guys talk.
They should legitimately make that an option for some of these.
Slay!
There's a reason this is a fan favorite story. Smosh are performers, and since this format is typically casual conversation, Courtney's physicality is a hilarious contrast.
All while on top, his preference and
She's running around, she's jumping up and down, writhing in agony.
Clear!
And the camera operator's on top of it too. They know what good TV is. Anytime that someone goes off mic so that you can hear like the echo of the soundstage in the back will always get a laugh out of me. And Shane being a mirror, which can cause problems in other episodes, really amplifies everything because you're so used to him being moderate that when he says,
the fact that he's alive means she underreacted.
it makes it that much funnier. He does say things like that pretty often, but I think it's a good bit.
This was too much. I should mention he's not some super skinny dude himself and can out-eat me.
Oh, he's a hypocrite. I forgot that he's like a total hypocrite. That sucks so bad.
I'm top heavy in the way that my breasts are really large.
This is a topic that doesn't require a lot of nuance. The guy in the story is being insulting in the most intimate moment you can have with your partner. But even so, they're not just here to lampoon. They do take a moment to consider the other side of things until they learn a little more.
Just because we're doing this, let's give space to intrusive thoughts, I guess, right? When you're like, oh, this looks like that. Oh, I didn't mean to offend. But this is a reoccurring offense.
Specific.
I do understand that they want to make the show kind of a look into Redditors' lives so that they can make jokes and poke fun. But the stuff that I remember, the stuff that makes me love this whole show, are the moments that we get to see them care. Which brings us to the last story. No spoilers here, but this story does tackle themes of homophobia and bullying. So if you're not comfortable with that, please feel free to skip to this timestamp in the video. It does have a happy ending though. So if you feel that you can watch with that in mind, I highly recommend it. Would I be the asshole for telling my son not to wear his favorite jacket anymore because it looks gay? I'm a single dad to my son, Oliver, 10. He's with me most of the time, and he sees his mom every other weekend. He's an awesome kid, creative, full of energy, and he's got his own sense of style that's pretty unique. He loves bright colors, nail polish, and clothes that some people might think are more girly. If I'm honest, I think Oliver might be gay, and I'm totally cool with that. I've always made it clear that whoever he turns out to be, I'll support him 100%. Because of how he dresses and acts, Oliver's had a really rough time with the other kids. He got bullied so bad at his old school that I ended up pulling him out and homeschooling him. The school wasn't helpful at all, and it was heartbreaking to see him go through that. He struggled to make friends, and it kills me to see him feel so alone. Now, he's starting back at school in September, and he's really excited about it, but recently we were at a cousin's birthday party, and Oliver wore his favorite jacket, which is a bright pink, sparkly one that he loves. Some of the other kids started picking on him, saying he looked gay. I stepped in, got the kids to apologize, but it ruined the day for Oliver. I'm worried about how things will go when he's back at school. I've been thinking about whether I should talk to Oliver about maybe toning it down a bit, especially when he's around new people. Not because I want him to change who he is, but because I hate seeing him get hurt and feel like an outcast. I don't want him to feel like he has to hide who he is, but I also don't want him to be picked on or excluded because of it. But then, I feel like a complete asshole for even thinking about this. I don't want him to think that I'm ashamed of him or that he has to conform to be accepted. I want him to feel free to be himself, but I'm also scared of him being hurt by others who don't get it. So, would I be the asshole if I talked to Oliver about maybe being a bit more low-key with his style? Internalized homophobia is something that I dealt a lot with when I was a kid. Definitely from the adult figures of my life, but also just from people my age, from people around me. It causes a lot of unnecessary turmoil. Overall, I don't have much to say that they don't already say on the show. They immediately explain why he shouldn't feel the need to conform and the ways you can support him without putting him in danger.
It's tricky because you don't want them to get like literally hurt. They might not be grown enough to understand that complex feeling of like, I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to not express yourself.
It makes me wonder how much of parents' homophobia comes from this place of like, they're scared for their kid. But in the process, if he does that, now he's
instilling that on his
like
child.
his son also knows,
Exactly.
and my dad also doesn't like it.
But you can't lean into the negatives of society out of fear. You have to fight against them and just support.
And then we get the update to this story, which this is the part that always fucks me up and I know fucks up, well, Shane. Hey y'all, it's been about 26 days since my original post, and I thought I'd give an update now that Oliver has had his first week back at school. I can happily say that so far, things are going much better than I'd hoped. Over the summer, Oliver and I had a really important heart-to-heart. I sat him down and told him just how incredibly proud I am of the person he's becoming. I made sure he knew there is absolutely nothing he could ever do that would change the way I see him or make me love him any less. Honestly, it was a bit emotional, and I even got a bit choked up. I told him that if wearing his favorite jacket, the one that's caused some hurt before, made him happy, I'd stand by him 100%. But I also wanted to make sure he was prepared. I explained that while I'll always be there for him, I can't always be around to protect him, and he might have to stand up for himself if kids make fun of him. I made it clear that this doesn't mean he should change anything about who he is. Okay, this is the bit that always really fucks everybody up.
I don't know if I'll ever show you these posts, Oliver. Maybe in a few years when you're older so we can laugh at how worried I was about you. Your dad is so proud of you. I think you are the most amazing person in the whole world, even when you drive me absolutely nuts. I am so lucky to get to be your father. I am so lucky you're in my life. I love you.
Oh my God. Dude.
This is the Smosh that people love. Be empathetic. Be caring. Don't be judgmental. Don't be rash. Don't be rude. As long as you do that, you bet my ass is going to be laying in bed with my belly out and my toes kicking the air while Shane threatens to kill another Redditor. Because that's what it's all really about. Can I say that on YouTube?